What's up, guys? Today I wanted to talk about burnout and why you actually need to do it sometimes in order to grow. So what just happened to me was I made myself sick because I couldn't get myself to stop working. And let me tell you the story. Okay, so not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, I went out to drink with my friends. We went to like a mini rave, and of course, my immune system is tanked a little bit after this. But everything's normal. Everything's fine. As the week goes on, I'm just living like normal. And then Thursday afternoon, I start to get like a slight sore throat, but I brush it off. And but keep in mind, like, I'm kind of like on fire with content right now. I am really on a roll. I feel like I have good momentum. And this is like 6 weeks in the works. Like 6 weeks of ever since I started really ramping up my content brain. And it's all coming to a pinnacle on this weekend because, like, basically I don't know what happened, but I ended up posting shorts 3 days in a row. But I'll get to that in a little bit. And then Friday, I start to feel a little bit more sick, but I was like kind of fine. Like, it wasn't really impacting me at all, except like I could tell that like I was kind of declining a little bit. I started to get a little bit more sick on Saturday, but I remembered that a new gym was opening up and they were having like a lifting party, basically like a grand opening, everyone come check out the gym type of thing. And I was like, wait, this is actually a great content idea. So, and I wasn't sick enough to like get other people sick. I just like could feel it coming, So I went to the gym, filmed a little bit. I did like a super quick light workout, filmed a bunch of stuff, went home, immediately started editing this short, and I could feel myself getting sicker. I knew I was declining. It was like a slow motion crash. But I just couldn't stop myself from working. I just kept going. And then I finished by the time I was supposed to go to sleep, which was like, 12 or 1 or 2. And then I'm like, done. I finished editing. I go to sleep. And then I wake up at like 4:30 a.m. and I have like full-on fever symptoms. It was bad. Like body aches, chills, sweat, fever, like head. I was in pain. Like I had to go get I had to do the old cold towel trick, where you just lay down, you just put the cold towel on your head. It was bad. Anyways, so I woke up super sick on Sunday, but I still somehow managed to post on all 3 platforms that morning. But then I was like completely dead. I literally could not do anything. I could barely watch TV. I just like napped all day and then ate food. It was rough. So I'm working from home on Monday, and then after work on Monday, I wanted to keep the streak going because I had posted 3 days in a row and I wanted to post for a 4th for some reason. So I actually made a short about not burning out. It was titled "Push Yourself Hard, but Don't Burn Out." I finally posted it, and it was kind of bad. I made the whole thing and posted it in like 1 or 2 hours after work. And then I was just like, there's like that thing when you're an early creator and, you post something and it's like, it's not getting numbers. I'm already getting addicted to the numbers. It's bad. But at the same time, I think I'm okay. But anyways, it did really bad, and I felt really bad about that. And I was like, why did I post that? So I ended up deleting it. So if it was up for like half a day. So if you saw it, you saw it. But honestly, it was just confusing. The message was, it was unclear. I was like contradicting myself, which is why I decided I don't think I can actually condense these ideas into a short, which is why I'm going to make it into a podcast. And yeah, so I wanted to clarify my thoughts here, but going back to like the whole story of how I got sick, Like I literally overworked myself into getting like this could have been avoidable. It was such a light, like, I don't know, I feel like I know my body pretty well, and it was a very light cold at first, and I've heard that there's like some summer head cold going around. Yeah, I feel like if I had just rested, this could have blown over in like a day. But I didn't. I just overworked myself. I didn't sleep. I worked out a little. I was working. I was like stressed. The cortisol was high, all that. So, yeah, I think most people, if they understood what I just did to myself, they would think it was a bad thing, that I'm crazy, I'm a workaholic, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think it's kind of fine. And I feel like it kind of reaffirmed that I'm on the right path. And let me explain. So to me, I feel like I would consider this somewhat of a burnout. Yeah, I would consider it a burnout. Like, even if I didn't get sick, I think I was definitely pushing my limits of exhaustion, you know? So I kind of think about burnouts as like fights in a relationship. Like, this was like my first, if this new path in my content journey of, you know, fitness stuff mixed with like, I don't know, the struggles of being a creator / entrepreneur. I don't even know how to define my content right now. Yeah, if this new content path is like a new relationship to me, then this burnout is kind of like the first relationship fight, you know? And I think it's important because it means that I was captivated enough with this new venture to stick it out through the honeymoon phase. And I think burnout is just an obstacle. It forces you to ask yourself a very important question, actually, which is, do you want to continue when things get hard? Because when things get hard in your business or in your venture or in your content or whatever, there's only two choices. You either break it off or you keep going and you make it stronger. You make the relationship with your business or your partner stronger. So I'm pretty sure Alex Hormozy said this, but he says the real reason that people burn out is because they stop getting positive feedback from what they're doing. And I can attest to this. I have like 5 examples of like businesses that I've done in the past. I'll probably tell the full story some other time. It's too many details. But if you think about it in terms of like burnouts equating to relationship fights, each of those cycle endings was like a relationship ending fight. So yeah, if you burn out and quit, I think, you know, it just wasn't meant to be. And it wasn't. I was trying to force something to work when it really had no hope. Like, if you look at the fundamentals of the business and the realities of my situation, it wasn't going to work. But I'm glad I did it anyways, for the experience. Anyways, well, that's like the burning out and quitting option. What about if you never fight at all? They say the opposite of love is not hate, it's indifference. And, you know, in a relationship, if you don't fight, one, you don't really care about this person because you're going to leave them soon or something. Or two, you don't know how to communicate properly, and the feelings just bottle up until they explode. I know it's not a perfect analogy, but like, in my opinion, if you're not burning out once in a while on your projects, to me, it means that you don't care enough. This might be an overgeneralization or just kind of like my opinion on things, but like, to me, like when I have found things in my life that I have decided were worth a shot, worth putting my entire body, mind, and soul into, like, I've gone all out. And like, I've done this enough times to where I feel like I know what's required. Like, I'm not like, obviously I'm not successful in the way that, people think about success. But I think I know what's required because I've been doing it, Like, anybody with a job knows, like, you go to your job all day, you come back, you got to exercise, and then you're tired, and then you're hungry, and then if you have a relationship, then like, where's the time? Where's the energy that you need in order to do something extracurricular and, try to do something? So I know what's required. It's a lot of hard work, sacrifice, potentially even, isolation. You might just need to be alone to focus and build momentum, and not allow yourself to be distracted by things like, I don't know why I said it like that, but not allowing yourself to be distracted by like going out and getting drunk and hungover, because it just kills all your momentum, So I know what's required, and I feel like if you never burn out, it's kind of like never hitting failure when working out. Like, you're not pushing yourself. You don't love it that much. There's probably people out there that just are very consistent and don't stress about it too much and are able to, just do a little bit every day and let that compound. But I don't know. I feel like with the realities of modern life, it's very hard to do that because people are just always tired and always busy. So, like, for me, I feel like I heavily rely upon inspiration. You know how people say like motivation is for losers, like because motivation is fleeting. Like a true professional just shows up and does the work. But I don't know if that's realistic. I feel like personally, I rely a little bit or a lot of it on inspiration, motivation, and obsession. Like, I try to find things that I naturally, have those feelings for, and then I like design the rest of my system around that thing so that whenever I have a spark, I can capitalize on it. Which is somewhat unreliable. It's unpredictable, but in a way, it is actually predictable because it keeps happening over and over, and it's kind of working. So, all to say, I think if you're not burning out, or if you never burn out, then you're not really testing your true limits of what you really could achieve, and you're never seeing like how fast you can run, how strong you could be in this whole business thing. And that leads us to our last option, which is, okay, so the first one was, you burn out and you quit. The second one is you never burn out, which means you either haven't been in it long enough or you don't care about it enough. And the third option is you burn out and you make it through and you love it even more. And I feel like that's where I'm at right now. I kind of feel like I'm in a new relationship almost with this new venture, this new content path. And it's one where I've been very deliberate. What's the word? Intentional. I feel like I've been very intentional about this new path that I'm taking and making sure to protect my passion. Like, making sure not to do things that I know I'm gonna hate. Or giving myself enough flexibility to like be able to do a bunch of different things, because like for the fitness example, like the way to blow up quickly is, one, to be jacked, and two, to do a bunch of thirst traps every day. And that's what a lot of people do. Like, That's all they do. They just do that one thing. It works. It gets views, and it makes money. But that's not what I wanted to do, and I know that if I had done that, I would have gotten bored very quickly, and I would have hated it, because then I would have been forced to do something. And that's like a whole nother part of burnout, because when you're forced to do something, you're for sure going to burn out faster than, if you're voluntarily like pushing yourself to your limits. But that's a whole nother topic. Anyways, I feel like this has been the start of a new relationship. I'm kind of like treading carefully, being careful not to blow out this flame or something like that. But yeah, I just feel like this is, I never thought I would be doing this. Like, I always saw, well, first of all, I never thought I'd do content, because in regular life, I'm a very private person. I don't have like a lot of close friends. I have a couple of like super, super close friends where like I tell everything, and then I have a lot of like acquaintances, people that I know, but not a lot of people in between that realm of, people that I hang out with. Yeah, it's like either we're like best friends, or we're just acquaintances. That's just how it is for me. I don't know. It's just a pattern I've noticed in myself. But yeah, I never thought I'd be doing this, and even then, I never thought I would just be talking to a camera. But weirdly, I find this very, very freeing, because I feel like there's a theme here in the videos that I do. Like, okay, obviously fitness, and then the other one is kind of nebulous right now, where it's like part entrepreneurship, part like a meta real-time analysis of, my content creation journey. 3, it's like kind of like relationships a little bit. Entrepreneurship, content creation, relationships. I guess that kind of sums it up, plus fitness. So, and maybe even a little bit of like life philosophy. So basically, it's everything that I actually find genuinely interesting, and I haven't really figured it out yet, and I don't know if it's possible to figure these things out. And I also like talks like this. But I feel like my best friends, like, we're best friends and we can talk about anything, but like, this is a very specific type of conversation that, like, I don't know if they actually enjoy having. It's like, it's just different. It's just different. So, yeah, I've surprised myself in being interested in doing this kind of thing. But I don't want to ramble. I've been working on not rambling and actually having a clear theme to each of these podcast episodes. This is actually probably the 7th one I've done in recent times. I will say, I think the first half of it was a little bit, it felt a little bit too scripted, I already know. The second half, I think I was flowing a lot more. I know what to do better for next time. But closing thoughts on burnout. Yeah, hot take. I think people should burn out more often. I don't think there's a lot of people that, in the way that I'm talking about, because, again, one thing I should clarify at this point is the difference between voluntary and involuntary burnout, because a lot of people are burning out, but it's because they're doing things that they hate and they don't want to do. Like, I don't know, maybe they don't like their job, or they're in college or grad school for something that they don't truly love, but they want to make a lot of money, or maybe not. But yeah, job, grad school, those are probably the two. Military, I think the reason I came up with that idea is because I was talking to this guy who was in the military, and he was telling me about like how they like force you to work out in the military, and it just sounded like the most terrifying and unappealing thing imaginable. Not terrifying, just unappealing. I would hate it. If somebody was forcing me to work out in that way, I would hate working out. But yeah, there's forced burnouts in that sense, but then there's burnout in a voluntary way, which is what we're talking about, of things that you take on voluntarily, like businesses that you start, content creation paths, anything else you're doing, hobbies maybe. And there's definitely a difference there. Even working out, like we're pushing ourselves to failure, but there's something fulfilling about testing our limits. Anyways, going back to the conclusion. Yeah, I think people need to burn out more in the voluntary way. People don't usually push themselves this hard unless someone is forcing them to. So if they can reach this point of burnout, they can ask themselves the question, is this something that I truly want to do? Is this aligned to who I am as a person? Do you want to continue? My actual conclusion, I'm just going to say it. I can't say this shit right now, but these were my 3 main points. If you burn out and quit, it wasn't meant for you. If you're not burning out, you might not actually care enough about what you're doing, or you might not be passionate enough about it. If you do burn out and you not only survive, but you learn and deepen your relationship with that path, then you're on the right path. Congratulations. All right, see ya.